And so this is birthbark. And what have we done? 20 podcasts over, and this new one just begun. And so this is birthbark. We hope you had fun. The fast and the slow ones, and pre who died young. A very merry birthday and a happy new year. Let's hope it's a good one without any plantar fasciitis. I'm Lauren.
And I'm Annie. Welcome to Birth Barf.
Barf.
Happy holidays, Lauren.
Happy holidays to you, Annie.
Welcome to a special edition of Birth Barf. Today is
Yeah.
our holiday variety hour.
Every time I've told someone that that's what I'm recording this week, they're like, what does that mean? And I was like, you don't understand me.
What does that mean? A variety hour, like a
I think people don't understand the old-timiness of a variety hour, because I think, I don't know, most people I know are too young to know what that means.
Are we old?
Yeah.
Oh,
Feels good.
okay. Well, that's fine. That's good.
Feels good.
Feels good.
I am fully in the holiday spirit. I have been decorating and baking, and I listen to choral Christmas music literally all day long, every day while I work from my home office. And I've asked if I can open presents every single day for 9 days.
Oh, that sounds like fun. Arbor just finished her last day of school for Christmas break. I'm taking most of the next 2 weeks off of work, so I'm just on the downhill of the roller coaster of
Whoa. Oh man, I am not even close. I have 3 full hard business days next week. They're not even like phone it in stuff. It's really hard.
Well, that's a great segue to our non-special episode events of an episode. What's in your drink? What's in your drink?
Ooh.
What's in your drink?
It's the sound of old timey Christmas lights. This is a Manhattan with absolutely no sweet vermouth because my dad drank it all when we were on vacation. So this is an exceptionally bitter, but still delicious Manhattan. And this is 32 fluid ounces of more bourbon.
I'm going to crack open an old PBR that's from the original case of PBR that I purchased for our beer mile. So it's not even fresh.
That was a really long time ago.
That was a really long time ago, but it's in a Birth Barf koozie, so all is good.
Who could resist a cold PBR in one's fridge for so long? Ooh.
Nothing this holidays like an old PBR.
Oh.
And then I have a second, not as cold PBR that Andy wrapped in an ice pack for me because that's how runners ice their drinks. It was very nice.
Aww, that's really cute.
And then a freshly washed Nalgene liter of water.
Ooh.
Gotta
Okay.
keep yourself hydrated.
That's
Happy
right.
holidays indeed. Also part of our regular intro on our episodes, welcoming our new Patreons. And this week we have Jonathan Croy. So Jonathan, welcome to the team.
Thank you, Jonathan. Welcome to Birth Barf.
And thanks to everyone
who your dreams.
Thanks to everybody who became a Patreon this year. Just blown away.
Wow.
So thanks for the support. It's been a great year that way wise. Everything else is great.
Thank you. Yeah, everything else is great. I mean, things have been great. In addition to that greatness, thanks for also becoming our Patreons.
So this episode, we're going to be bringing you a bit of this, a bit of that, and would encourage you to watch the video if it ends up turning out well. And if it doesn't, then I will just delete the video so that there's no proof and only the voice. But it's going to go great. I'm sure of it.
Indeed. So I'm pretty stoked to talk about our first topic because It is something that I value as deeply as like my own birthday in the past. I'd like for you to tell me how many years we ran Gingermas.
Gosh, that's a good question.
Oh, you don't know?
Gingermas,
You love
I don't know.
that.
I know
At
it's
least
got
at least 5 years.
at least 5 years. I would
So
agree with
let's
that.
begin with describing for those who are just joining us now what Gingermas is.
So Gingermas is a holiday themed running
Ginger.
event that
Fun.
has evolved over the years. So the very first year that Gingermas happened, it actually was a series of like daily challenges over the course of a week. So
Yeah, it was 12 days. It was the 12 days of
that's right,
Gingermas.
12 days of Gingermas. Like one of them was the eggnog mile, where you did what, 8 ounces of eggnog and ran a mile. And
Yeah, you did that in Old Town East, which is super weird, like right near Troy's house, right?
No, I did mine near my house that first year with Arbor and a baby carrier.
Oh, but you did. Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
so we have a
This
long
Steve.
lineage of Gingermas because subsequent years there was eggnog drinking as part of the scavenger hunt. Yes, but the first year there was a exclusive eggnog mile where you ended up downing a whole whatever the half-gallon thing is of eggnog.
Amazing.
Which, I'd like to pretend that I think it's gross, but I love it.
Oh, I love it too, but if I drank a half gallon of it, I'd want to go to the hospital. We failed to mention that this event is hosted by Ginger Runner himself, Ethan Newberry, who is a podcast. I mean, actually, if you're here and you don't know who Ethan Newberry is, then I'm mildly stunned and also deeply flattered, because he's basically the guy of ultra running podcasts. I mean, he hosts you can watch him on YouTube. They sometimes do live events, but he's very elaborate with his interactive, like participant kind of events, which he does. He's done races. He's done virtual races. He does a lot of cool stuff. And I've wiped my butt with his buff at multiple races.
Oh, that's so nice. Me too, actually, on the Sheltowee. That's half of one of his buffs is one of those that had to be sacrificed to the woods, because, you know.
Oh, to the butt gods, to the poop gods.
To the butt gods. But we've had so many good Gingermas memories, like, and you, I think you've run just as many Gingermas activities with Andy as you have me, which has been awesome.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Some medium overlap of timing and like mornings and evenings. Like you've done the weird, like you run with Andy like into the night hours too.
Oh yeah.
So Gingermas has evolved to now essentially being like, find as many things as you can on the scavenger item list, like a penguin inflatable or get a picture with Santa, and then also being how many miles, who can get the most miles kind of over the weekend. And it's not elitist because you can go out and walk forever too. What was that?
I mean, I have a million stories about this. Like, I don't even know which years, if they're all blending into one year, but like one year that Andy and I almost got run off the road when we were up at Alum Creek near the giant light display, which is called, I don't know, Benny Hill's wacky light display, whatever it's called.
Yeah, like Light Festivus for the rest of us. Yeah.
No, it has like some silly ass like Bud Bundy's Good Time Twinkly Lights show. I don't know. That's where we were when we. Okay, well, when we went up.
I was telling our listeners to Google it.
We don't need to figure out the right name. All right, cool. I mean, my all-time favorite was probably, I think it had to be more than 2 years ago that you went for the whole 100K.
Yes.
So because we did everything that day.
Yes, that was 2 years ago. And we had so much fun,
absurd. We ran in the rain for I was only there for 6 to 8. No, I was there for at least 8 hours of it.
Yeah, and you had actually gone somewhere during the day and were just getting back from something, because I remember you essentially changed in your car to meet up with me.
I went to Craftsmas, showed up in a parking lot with the stereo blasting, and I met you at the Gahanna Kroger parking lot. I was violently amped. But
Oh my gosh,
I mean,
that was so much fun. And we just blasted house music and we're like sashaying as hard as a person could sashay
like
for like
it's like midnight to 1 a.m. down Morse Road
most
in the
definitely.
rain.
And I feel like we did at least 8 miles like that, just like swatting our
It's
arms back and
really good
forth.
for hip mobility, as it turns out.
That was so good. And then so we sashayed to Walmart, got new Walmart Christmas shirts, which continue to be like
Still my favorite thing.
still
I
in
wore it every day
rotation.
I wore it every day this week.
So good. Like got new shirts at Walmart, talked to people that were in Walmart with their kids at like 2 a.m. Like, but they were
Weird.
great. The kids were well behaved. They were
Yeah.
asking us what we were up to because we were
So
covered
weird.
in Christmas gear. And then we went and had a drink at
Bar Louie?
Bar Louie. Oh, also, before we got to Walmart, we stopped at the Alumni Grill, which is this bar that is near Gahanna, Ohio. And people were just going off in there. Like I felt like we had
30
entered
to
a high school
50-year-olds.
reunion.
Yeah, but like
Yes.
30 to 50 doing like booty dancing with like thongs showing.
It was
And we were-
remarkable.
It was amazing. We were so thrilled that we got to be privy to such a strange subculture that we had strip mall 40-year-old booty dancing is a thing that is still alive and happening in Ohio.
Wall to wall packed. I don't think anybody asked like what was up with what we were wearing. They were just like, "Yep, this is the vibe."
Whatever you're doing is good. I mean, do you also remember the guy who was standing in his own front yard in Gahanna and he had just put up like his final bit of Christmas lights and was standing silently in the dark with the entire yard lit, just like beholding his majesty silently?
Yes. Oh, that was so good because one of the
Really
scavenger
cute.
items is a Griswold house, and we were in front of this guy's house to be a
Yeah.
Griswold house. Like there was nothing in his yard, including each blade of grass that was not covered in lights. And I'm so glad you reminded me of that because that
Such
was
a nice
really,
moment.
it was such a nice moment.
That was the spirit of Christmas. That dad standing in silence, beholding his own Christmas lights is the essence of Christmas.
It was so old.
We also did like
wholesome.
3 to 4 whiskey shots at Gatsby's. Do you recall?
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure you were on board for that.
I forgot how much we drank because it ended up towards the end of that being kind of a grind. So it's like I didn't forget it, but I think I've categorized them into 2 different things. But we got a lot done in the course of not even an overnight. Like it wasn't even a full overnight, and we got a lot done.
I did like almost a 24-hour run though, because I went home at 2 or 3 a.m. Scott picked me up from Easton, and you went on for 3 or 4 more hours.
Yeah, and I eventually had to stop because the drizzle was too much, and I couldn't sashay hard enough to keep myself warm. But that was the year I ended up winning like the indoor Nordic track bike, and it was the pinnacle of my career, which is why I don't have to run anymore.
Oh God, that's a good feeling. We also, every year, I think we get points for donating shoes. And so we would go to Fleet Feet or wherever every year to put our shoes in the box and like, be like, are you sure you want these? Like these look bad.
These are real spicy. They're real bad.
One year it was behind the Kroger, and that's where we did an eggnog toast with me, you, Andy, and Arbor. We went to see Santa at some kind of
Oakland
Nursery.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we both sat on Santa one of those years. I have a photograph of me sitting on Santa as a full ass woman.
Fun fact, the very, very first time I ever did Gingermas, and this is a perfect segue to my second favorite holiday athletic moments. The first time I ever attempted Gingermas was at the Huff. The second year that we ran the Huff.
I'm wearing my Huff hat right now.
And it's funny thinking about favorite holiday athletic moments and remembering about the Huff, because we haven't run the Huff now in 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's been 3 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And just thinking about the Huff makes me feel like I've put a blankie on. It makes me really happy because we usually had like a house full of people that were running it. You and I have done some really awesome things there. Like I was just talking about that this week, our 50K time at the Huff is 5:36, and I don't feel compelled to do a 50K or push hard in a 50K ever again because I feel like I've done it. I'm so happy with that time.
That was an insane day. I mean, that was my first year of ultra running, and I'll never do as well as I did in my first year ever. I won a 50K, and then I ran a 5:36. That's what I did in a single fall season, and I was like, oh, ultra running's the best and the most fun. I can't wait to do so much more of it because I'll surely succeed so much. The Huff is my second favorite holiday event when it comes to running and Christmas. Gingermas is my absolute favorite, and the Huff is my solid number 2.
And the energy at the Huff is so good. Like, remember their aid station. One of the aid stations one year was disco themed, and as we ran up to it, we were both just like, "This is it! Like they've done it.
No one can do a better aid station." Also, they're making fresh burgers from scratch. We didn't get to eat them because you would have smacked it out of my hand. I remember going to stop to get homemade peanut butter cups, and you were like, "There's no time for that." Let's go.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
You dragged my ass. The glory. Thank you. But I mean, that's a race where I had a panic attack at mile like 20 and then went on to do very well. And actually, because of that day, I realized that if I feel like I'm hyperventilating, I can just tell myself, no, you're not. Keep going. So thank you for the skill set.
You're welcome.
But they also have like 16 soups at the end. I just got an email that the Huff is happening this year, and they're not going to have the soups, of course, but they're going to hand make roasted pork sandwiches for everyone and then send them home. Well, thanks a lot for the vegans and vegetarians, but like that's just kind of the level of the huffiness of like, and then we'll put a blanket around your entire body and then carry you a mile. Like they're the most loving, family oriented people.
I cannot emphasize this enough, because if you're listening right now and thinking, really, the soup is a selling point, I was once just like you. The soup is the reason for the
When you just ran a snowy 50K, and then you have your choice of 16 homemade hot soups, and you're basically, we call it Olympic Village. It's this giant tent filled with runners who are eating soup.
Giant heated tent.
Heated tent. And someone's like, what kind do you want, sweetheart? You're just like, thank you.
And not to mention there's like different accoutrements for each soup. So like each soup had its own distinct flavor. So they're not trying to pass off like chicken noodle and then like chicken broth. No, it's it's like a whole homage to the original bread, of that soup flavor.
Crackers, cheeses. God, the Huff is delightful. And also, every year that the Huff was over, I would drive straight to my family Craftsmith, and I would get there high as fuck off of running like the most fun race ever, and then show up in a costume, find out that it's not a costume Christmas event, even though the theme was Hunger Games. How are you not supposed to show up dressed as Katniss? But like people, my family would just be like, wow.
Why do you keep showing up like this?
You're a lot. Like, we almost would rather have a relative who's like addicted to bath salts than one who runs 50Ks, because you're really a lot.
Another favorite memory from the Huff is the year that like a pack of us women went. And after we did the Huff, we were all like wrapped in space blankets and like half shuffling through the grocery store, picking up alcohol. And I was moving so slowly, like we all looked nuts. Like we had our medals on, like space blankets, like just completely huddled over in our hoodies and stuff. And then we all went back to our hotel rooms, and I proceeded to probably
dump red wine over everywhere. The floor, clean it up with white towels, and then be like, "Don't worry about it."
It was
scratching so lottery tickets while you just poured Carlo Rossi on the floor, which makes it sound like we actually know how to party, which we don't because we're runners.
No, correct. But yeah.
Another year, I would like you to remember, because I still have a photograph of it, we got a giant Airbnb. Your dad came, and I stayed in this room in the basement, and as soon as I closed the door to my room, there were dirty thong lace panties hanging on the doorknob in my room. I was so horrified that I'm pretty sure I screamed and made everyone come in my room, and then I closed the door so they could see.
I remember we were kind of like skeeved out, and then wasn't the owner like, yeah, those are my daughters. Sorry, the cleaning person
Yeah,
missed
I'm
those.
sure it's something wholesome, but man, in the moment, it was like, what kind of place is this?
It's
Oh,
it's a 2-story lake house with 8 bunk beds. It's exactly the kind of place that's gonna have a dirty thong hanging on the back
okay,
door.
okay, okay. That's how it goes.
But yeah, shout out to the Huff. If you have not done the Huff before, highly encourage you to do so. It's also in the same location that the India Trail 100 happens. So, oh,
Yeah,
ginger miss, the Huff.
change miss. Mwah, mwah.
And then the last thing I wanted to touch on favorite holiday athletic events, moments, is I'm gonna say like the miscellaneous holiday 5Ks.
That was gonna be mine. That's all I've got. Yeah, I mean, I really wanted to run a 5K every single weekend of December, but then I realized what an incredible dump of money that is, which I don't know how I must have been flush last year because I just paid for them all. I signed up for one, and I'm not running it until the package comes, which is the LL Bean 5K, the Christmas 5K that comes with a buffalo plaid tight technical shirt that is tailored at the waist.
What? Oh my gosh.
Oh, it's called the flannel. It's called the flannel 5K. Yeah, that's the only one I signed up for. But I love Santa race, eggnog race. I love the Jingle Bell 5K, which benefits people with arthritis. I love all holiday races. Also, 2 years ago, I made my brother go to the Santa race in Gahanna. It was his first 5K ever. I mean, I think we made his PR and his goal by like a second and a half, and it poured freezing rain the whole time.
I
He
remember
said
that.
he was like not right afterwards. We went to my parents' house directly after, and they're like, "Do you want coffee and not bacon?" And he was like, "I can't feel my feelings." He was a mess.
That's because 5Ks are horribly difficult. I
They
recently
are.
had somebody I work with ask me, like, oh, do you just like laugh at people with their 5Ks and their half marathons? And I was like, no, never.
He asks me that question all the time, and I'm like, I would never wish the suffering of a 5K on anyone ever. I feel like I'm trying to picture what the difference is. I feel like a 5K is getting a tooth drilled with no Novocaine, and an ultra is more like a long surgery.
That's a beautiful metaphor. I
You,
mean, I really feel
you.
like that encapsulates life.
I've only had this much. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, holiday 5Ks. I just love anything. I mean, like, I love Christmas. I love dressing up in stupid outfits. You do too. So that really tickles my jingle bells.
And we got to do ours. We got to do, was it last year or 2 years ago? 2 years
Two
ago,
years,
right?
2 years ago, we did the hot cocoa.
Yeah, I think that's the one I'm thinking of, where beforehand we went to
Mm-hmm.
Starbucks, then we went to Walgreens and got new nail polish colors.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were dressed in our Christmas sweatshirts and scream sang Christmas carols while we ran was it 14 or 10K? Because it wasn't out and back, because we got to sing at people going both directions. It was like from the
We did the
Westerville
10K.
Y.
We did the 10K, but we did it like fun paced, and no one. I mean, they had people still there.
Yeah,
A,
but we
a couple
blasted
people.
music. We blasted music. They let us have the old shirts from the previous year.
I wear that. I wore that 5 days of this week. I wore my Walmart shirt underneath and that on top with a full scarf. That's what I wore to work every day this week.
Because the material of the shirt is key. It doesn't matter if the logo has been screen printed on crooked. It's the material of the
It
shirt that
was.
matters.
Yeah. Oh God, I love it.
That race was so fun.
It was
Oh,
great. And the sun was shining and it was crisp out. And I had my jammy pack. Thank you, Sandman. And we just blasted carols. And every time we passed someone, which was, I guess, when people passed us, they were
yeah.
like, "Thank you, yay!" Woo.
Yeah, people were feeling it. Oh, that's everything you could hope for in a 5K. It really
I
did.
know. I
Yeah,
know.
or 10K, a 10K.
Whatever it was, we're not even
Whatever.
sure.
Whatever.
Running through forests and winning top female, big flutes of champagne and peeling off toenails, race shirts that aren't ugly tied up with strings. These are a few of our favorite things. Bright colored lipstick and warm mashed potatoes, cowbells and costumes and getting new rum clothes, drinking some whiskey, here comes the upswing. These are a few of our favorite things. Women on hilltops in all of their glory, epic race recaps that have a poop story, completing an A race that has the best bling. These are a few of our favorite things.
When the chafe rubs,
When the puke comes, when I'm feeling
sad,
we simply remember our favorite things, and then we don't feel so bad.
So now we're going to talk about the inspiring moments of 2020, the things that made us feel excited to be runners, excited to be women runners, excited for other people's successes. And we are so lucky that we had so many. And Annie's going to kick us off because this first one is very dear to her heart.
It's very personal. So 2020 was a lot of bike riding for me and my family, more so than running miles for most of it. And my 8-year-old, at the time 7-year-old daughter, Arbor, hit a
Oh my
big
God.
milestone this year, riding her first century on a bike. And it
Wow.
would just, we've been building up to this for the last few years, with her longest ride being like 30, 40, 60 miles. Like last year, her longest ride was close to 80 miles. And so we kind of knew that it was coming up this year. And she just crushed it. She didn't complain. She had a great time. She did it again.
She's just insane. I just want to say how miraculous it is to have a child of two endurance athletes who, instead of sort of rebelling against the thing that they're into or being sort of, apathetic about it, like totally adopted it, felt good about it, wanted to create her own goals, achieve those goals, and is just an utter badass at everything she tries her hand at. I mean, she's a kid, so there's going to be days where like you get a little pouty or you get a little weird, but like, let's be honest, have you seen adults be way more ridiculously pathetic in a race than your own daughter?
100%. 100%.
I mean, your daughter's resilience when it comes to endurance is really unparalleled at any age.
She has a lot of class.
She's very classy. She's a very classy lady.
And, it was amazing. She did her first century as an out and back, and then proceeded to do a point-to-point because she wanted to try doing a point-to-point.
Dang. Because she knows what that means.
Yeah.
She knows the difference between an out and back and a point-to-point. Oh my God. She's such an accomplished athlete at such a young age, and so tough.
So yeah, that's a top one.
What a babe. Moving on to another one that I know nothing about, so I will hand over to you. I know that there were 3 female record breakers
Teens attempts, yeah.
just in 2020. I know that it was broken 3 separate times by females.
So this is a FKT effort that's actually on the list of nominations for fastest known time of the year, or how I like to say fuck toy, because I can't help but think that when I see FKT.
That's all I think about every time I see it.
So the fuck toy of the year is potentially Sabrina Stanley. I have to imagine that Sabrina Stanley is going to get FKT of the year because she ran Nolan's 14, and then Megan Hicks went out, I think 2 weekends later, broke the FKT again. Mm-hmm. Sabrina Stanley was like, I definitely want to go for this again. We don't know what's going to happen next year, and I really can't just like sit on this all winter. I have this perfect window of time where the full moon is out, and Sabrina Stanley went back out and broke the FKT again and ended up doing Nolan's 14 successfully, like 6.5 weeks apart. did two full Nolan
Okay,
14.
so this is why it's so significant. I had someone ask me this week, they were like, when other people have broken it since then, why is that the FKT that's nominated? Because someone's broken it since her.
Yes, but that she is the current FKT holder. She
Oh.
had it, she lost it to Megan, and then Sabrina did it again, taking it back.
Wow. Jesus, that's ballsy as hell.
And Sabrina also became, I think, the first female to break 60 hours. So she did it in like 58 hours. Just,
relentless. Fucking relentless.
yeah.
That's brutal.
And also, just Sabrina Stanley is a standout from the perspective of she really calls her shots. Like she's kind of like Camille Herron in that way, where she is super proud of like putting or super forward about putting what her goals are that she's going for. Like she's very unabashed with her performance efforts. And I think just in general, she's a role model, but for us as women to be a lot more assertive about stating those things and being a little bloodthirsty. Like, I think being a little bloodthirsty is good. We're athletes, and I don't think we would be here if we didn't want to compete.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's incredible. And I also think I don't want to say piggyback, because if I do, I might kill myself because I've been on Zoom for so many hours.
There's been a lot of
if anybody fucking piggybacks anything else ever again, I might go to their house and claw their eyes out of their head. But just to dovetail with what you're talking about, no, oh my God. Let's just say, if we were to have a gigantic 6-foot poster of a female in ultra running on all of our walls, and I don't mean you and I mean everyone listening to this podcast, it would be Courtney Dauwalter. And we're going to bow our heads in reverence now to give Courtney Dauwalter her full due for doing something that deeply inspired us in 2020, which is she won Big's Backyard. And I don't have to say outright, because only one person can win Big's Backyard regardless of their gender. Courtney Dauwalter, I think, set the record of most miles ever run at Big's Backyard.
At Big's Backyard, yes. And she tied, regardless. I forget, because this year was strange with the satellite locations, with it being international and the laps run at other places. Because I think Carol Sabe did 75 laps or something like that.
But at Big's, she holds the record.
Yeah.
For 68 loops, yes. Belgium's Saba Carol won the international race in 75 loops.
Yep.
But Biggs is another beast. She ran 283.33 miles. We knew that it was imminent. You know, I mean, we've been watching her race huge, beefy multi-days for several years now. We knew that she was going to win. We just didn't know when. And oh my God, was it juicy when she finally took her place there on the top box.
And to think, like, Maggie winning last year, Courtney winning this year, like, women's streak, you know, it's a streak of women.
Good. It's so good. I mean, it just further emphasizes that when it comes to exceptional distance, that women can win, and they do. We're just so lucky to have the kind of heroes that we do just in ultra running right now, in Maggie and Courtney, and we deep bow to you.
Quick correction on Sabrina Stanley's effort. She is the first female to break 50 hours on Nolan's 14.
Wow.
Not 60 hours. 60
Baller.
hours, I believe, is the time limit. So,
baller. So I'd like to talk to y'all about somebody who is a hero in our hearts on a more local scale, and that is my dear Jessica of Fluff Bakery in Athens, Ohio.
Oh, Fluff Jessica.
Oh, Fluff Jessica. Oh. I can't, I might get teary-eyed. I might collapse on the floor when I talk about her. We've been collaborating a little bit about how we're going to train for Ohio's Backyard, which is coming up here in March. She has just inspired us in so many different ways, not just about women towing the line at local races and beyond, but also how we show up for each other as women athletes, how we support one another, and how we can be more creative about how we bring women in. I mean, really, she's a big part of our inspiration for the idea of the plus one in 2021. He has just taught us so much about getting excited, opening our hearts, and finding creative ways to bring women to the starting line. And I can't say enough good things about her.
And just think, we really started our relationship with the Southern Ohio women based on Jessica's efforts at the beginning of this year, when she supported us not just as a friend, as a supporter of Birth Barf, but as an entrepreneur, and giving us a space within her business in Athens to speak about our experience and have people come and listen, and gave us her attention, her time, her resources, and a good fucking meal. And Aperol spritzers out the eyeballs. Like, she just really, it's not just lip service. Like, she's showing up with everything that she has at her disposal, and that just is so meaningful.
Yes.
And doing things like calling into Ridge Runners, making sure that she's speaking up within a leader in Trail Sisters, and it's just awesome.
Yeah, if we could fashion you an award and give it to you now, we would be providing you with that award. It's a light lamp.
Other women inspirations, and it's not even, we didn't even make this list specific just to women, but it tends to be a lot of them. This year was female run publications. So
yeah, wow.
I guess I should say female running publications. Our dear friend Tyler started Straights and Curves, which is a zine that comes out of Portland, Oregon, about running, that has poems and art and inspiration and articles about running in different fashion than you would think of with like Trail Running Magazine or Ultra Running Magazine. And just, I'm so proud of her, because she's had this idea bounce around in her head for a long time with her friend that she co-created it with, and to be able to get that in my hands and see the labor of her work is awesome. Issue 2 went on sale, I think, on Monday, and it might still be available, but I think they went pretty fast. But definitely encourage you to look up Straights and Curves, because, man, zines are cool.
Yeah, they're cool as hell. I mean, I'm super proud of her too. I mean, I just love her so much. She's so good at manifesting these ideas that she has. And there's something in common with both of the female run publications that you're going to talk about today, and that is that they're super fucking punk. Like, they're underground, they're independent, they're filled with art, they're not beholden to fucking anybody. They have very few sponsors, and when they do, they have sponsors that they fully stand by in mission, and they support LGBTQIA and beyond. They support people of color. They are inclusive. They just represent like the fucking, they're just the essence of punk to me. I feel so good about both of these publications. Like, also, who's making zines? That's fucking rad. That takes me back, man. Yeah. That takes me back.
And you
a more polished version. Yeah, okay, good.
So the other female run publication is Jessica Vanderbush with the Eat Clean Run Dirty magazine, and I admire the shit out of her, because I think it's one of those things that I would look at and be like, yeah, that's something I could see myself doing, and I don't know if I could ever get myself the gumption to actually go for it. And she's gone for it in a big way. It's in this
so much work, so much collaboration, so much fundraising. And she's got such a solid friend group, a lot of which are people who are super dear to our heart. Annie got a pretty cool shout out in the most recent edition, which I thought was rad. Yeah, I mean, Travis Lloyd was one of the founders. Lee Connor is one of our trail buds that we adore. A lot of people that have just been sort of our friends on the trail for many years and have been there with us from the start of our interest in ultra running. just
And I
made
like
some
swear
wonderful
words.
things.
I like swear words in publications. I've gotta say, swearing is really important to me, and to see more swear words in reference to trail running, yes.
Yes, super proud of you guys.
A more recent a recent inspiration within like the last week. This will be a quick blurb, but I saw a gentleman out on a run the other day, and he had his two small daughters on bikes behind him in the pouring rain. And I was telling them, good job for being out in the rain, because that's no small feat. As a person who has gone headfirst into rain on a bike before, it's not an easy task, let alone when you're like an 8-year-old. And as I was telling them kudos and you're doing a great job, the dad turned around and said, "Birth barf, right?" And it turns out that it's a Birth Barf fan. So Darren, I have to tell you and your daughters, thank you so much for the boost in the middle of my run. It really was like the highlight of my run
That's
week
so
month.
cute.
It was awesome.
That's so cute.
So thank you for being out there.
That's adorable. Scott calls that getting recognized, when you're out in public and organically someone knows who you are, and there's nothing juicier than a full-blown recognized.
It's wild.
I remember some of my best ones. Keeping it local, I would like to mention another one of our deeply inspiring local ladies, and that is our darling friend Katie Height, who has just, I have to say, always been there for us at the right moments. Like, I feel like a bat signal must go out into a cloud when I'm like laying on the floor of my basement feeling like a worthless piece of shit, and Katie Height just texts me immediately. Like, this happened maybe 2 days ago, and I was just like, I hate everything, and I'm gonna cry all through Christmas. And Katie Height was just like, "Hi, how are you doing?" And I was like, "I do have a guardian angel."
Oh, I know. And I've ended up like long form Instagram messaging her. She'll be like, here's this Instagram story poll. Like, do you think I should go with the red or the green? And I'm like, my soul has been aching, and I don't know if I can keep staying strong much longer. And she is just so responsive and says or sends the right thing. And I think you and I, and we had to mention this because you and I talked about each one of us being like, God, thank God for Katie Height, because I really would have had more struggles this year if she wasn't there. And
Absolutely.
I just think that's
Absolutely, yes.
wild that we've both used her as like our emotional sounding
yeah,
board.
we made lists and we're both like, Katie Height, yes, final answer, thank you, yes.
Yeah. So
I mean, I
thank you.
just see her at all the right times.
So thank you, Katie. Please bill us for the emotional labor whenever you get a moment.
Absolutely. So I know we've mentioned almost only female athletes, so we'll take a brief break from that to say that an inspiring moment of 2020 was when our dear friend Sam Furman finished the Barkley Fall Classic this year, which is insane. Somehow, by I don't even know what kind of magical juju he has surrounding Frozen Head, but the Frozen Head gods must smile upon him, because he got in, which I know a lot of people had to take a bye year because it was a spooky year, but this was a year that, it was kind of like a little bit of a crapshoot. Like, if you wanted to do it, maybe you could. So he was there and ready and willing and made the distance, which is bonkers, because it's just, it's probably not the hardest thing he's ever done. He's run 100, he's run 100K. He's done some off the wall, like personal achievements, running like 100K on the road by himself for no reason at all. But it's definitely a special merit badge on your Boy Scout sash. They don't have sashes. Whatever they wear. On your vest? I'm not really clear on what they wear. But he's a dear friend of ours and a dear friend of the podcast, and I just wanted to say it's a baller move to be able to finish just like a comically hard course.
Yeah. And then I think our final one is another fuck toy nominee. And that's Michaela, who we got a chance to interview on her whole own episode too, so we can keep it brief. But Michaela's Colorado Trail FKT. So that was just super cool. And I think yeah, just hearing her talk about her attempt also kind of informed some of my mindset for this year too, and thinking about like going for women FKT records versus overall. Hint, just go for the overall, especially on these really long efforts. And just, you know, really utilizing her toolkit and experience, even though she admitted herself that her training wasn't like to the nth degree, but she utilized her skill set and experience. And I kept thinking about that too, and just being like, you know, and this doesn't hold up to any logic, but I was like, well, if Michaela can do the Colorado Trail, like I can do Sheltowee, and it worked.
Obviously, this is the same thing. I love her matter of fact attitude, which is very similar to yours, which is like, I can, I will, I'm gonna, like, shut up, I'm just gonna fucking do it. Like, of course I'm gonna fucking do it. Like,
Yep.
the shoe exploded, I'm out of food, it's completely dark. Like, fuck you, I'm going to fucking do it. I'd like to just add in a little sprinkling here that's not in our outline. And in the inspiring moments of 2020, I would like to mention, I would say the most inspiring person and also a fuck toy, Annie Lang, who set the fastest known time for women and for the new trail on the Sheltowee Trace Trail this year. She is one of the nominees for the North Face Fastest Known Time Award for 2020, which is well-deserved and also insanely awesome. I'm constantly inspired by you, and I would say I'm surprised, but I'm never surprised when you do the thing that you say you're going to do.
You beat me to it, because another one of my inspiring things for this year has been you. And
Were you going to do that to me?
Oh,
we just gifted a mage on each other?
We did. Remember when we got the same tattoos and we passed the time and the pain by telling each other the things we liked about one another?
Yeah,
we're gonna
that
do
worked
it again.
Better for you than it did for me, because I just screamed and you slept. Okay.
Yeah, like this year you did BFC and became one of 3 females left that have done how many BFCs?
7.
7.
6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 up there.
Yep. Six-time BFC finisher, and you're in very rare company, period, let alone women. You started some new stuff this year, like doing a streak, which you were on day.
Hey Siri, how many days has it been since March 16th?
It was 277 days ago.
I'm on 278.
So you decided to start a streak this year. And even though at times I would get the reminder from Strava and be like, damn it, Lauren went out for a run again, and I still don't feel like running today, you ended up being like my running consciousness, where it was like my touchstone of like, people are still running, I can be unmotivated, and it's okay. It was like this stream or this like current of motivation that was always there, that was like, when I'm ready to jump back in, Lauren will still be there.
The run will go on.
This virtual race.
Wherever you are, I am running outside, and when you're ready, you can run too. That went really well.
Really good. Really good. That's what we call riffing. But yes, really. So yeah.
Wow, I can't believe we did that to each other. That was really actually unplanned.
Yeah. So yeah, inspiring moments of 2020.
Delicious and delightful. I loved every minute of it.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. We're dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh. O'er the fields we go, laughing all the way. Bells on bobtail ring, making spirits bright. What fun it is to ride and sing in a sleighing song tonight. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way.